Let's talk about why our kids have a $20,000 spending limit for Christmas. For anyone new here, I'm Christy, this is my husband Seth, and we have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. Before you freak out, the limit is between both of them, so each of them only get $10,000.
What we do is we give children, Hanukkah we start educating children about money. The gift we like to give children on Hanukkah is money, and we also accompany that with discussions of what money is and what it's about.
How much should you spend on your partner for Christmas?
I'm just one of those people. I'd say about
$1,000?
Yeah.
You were going to say $1,000, innit?
Yeah.
$1,000?
Maybe a bit over.
Holiday spending this year is absolutely out of control. People will literally justify any reason to overspend and go into debt. Weren't we just in a recession and people were complaining about the cost of everything and how everything's so overpriced? And here we are now, just a couple months later in the holiday season, and people are taking out credit cards, personal loans, or buy now, pay later to buy gifts for people that they don't like or just don't have the money for. Make that make sense to me. I don't know, but my question to you is, how much do you plan on spending this holiday season on your kids, family, friends? Let me know down in the comment section below. Otherwise, let's get right into today's episode.
How much do you spend on Christmas presents in total?
50,000. 50,001.
You know what? We normally stick to a budget. We got 2 kids now, so I'm not going to say the budget.
200 maybe?
Too much. I think last year was about 600 for all the family and friends. Yeah.
Whole family.
You see his reaction? Man, financial literacy, I don't know why the conversation of finance is so taboo that people don't want to have it with their significant others. It blows my mind. I mean, this should be the number one thing that people talk about in families, in relationships. One of the main reasons for divorce are because of financial problems. At its core, that's what it is. So the fact that for whatever reason, I don't know why society has casted that if you talk about money, you are evil, and if you choose to not spend money, you're the Scrooge. It blows my mind.
I'd probably say £500-600.
Maybe 300-400 maybe.
Well, I only have a sister and my mom and my dad, so I'd say $250.
I just spent on my mother-in-law and my partner around £600-700.
Family and that. On my mum, I spend 200.
I don't even have an answer.
Probably £30 each. Nearly £50. £100.
Probably the most on my partner, and then I'll get my parents something, so 400 maybe.
£500-600 a year.
400?
I mean, it's hard to judge people on what they spend because we don't know their finances or how much money they make or the extent of their family and friends. But I'll tell you this year for me and what I spent. Now, keep in mind, both my mom and sister happen to have birthdays this month in December. So whether it's a blessing or a curse, I don't know, but I kind of do some 2-for-1 action where I kind of, the holiday birthday kind of merge into one. So I spend a little bit more and I kind of get one gift for each of them, and that's kind of it. But I spent $60. There was a Costco promo, $60, and you get a $45 shop card. So I got that for my parents. So that was $60, and then they get that. I could have gotten it. I gave it to them too. So that's cool. I mean, that was pretty cheap, $60 for the holidays. They don't really need much. They have everything they need. So, and then for my sister, I spent $100. That was a holiday birthday gift. And then for my mom, it was $50 for something that she wanted. And then for my girlfriend, for the holidays, it was $100. So what are we at? $350, I think. And that's only immediate family and significant other that I get gifts for. I don't really get gifts for friends. However, this month we did do gifts for friends, but they were homemade gifts. And I think in total we spent $50, $60 for 7 or 8 people. But I'll talk more about that later on in today's episode.
So for something like Christmas shopping, how do you help somebody still be giving and put thought into a gift without overspending?
My favorite way, and something I've been talking about for a very long time, is creating a gift closet. So if you are shopping ahead of time and you're planning ahead of time, you already know the loved ones that you want to buy for, right? You know that way ahead. This isn't someone that just spur of the moment came up and you're like, okay, I'm putting them on my list. These are people you've known for a lifetime. You know what they like, you know what they need. You have the entire year to do planning. You can find where the sales are. There's Black Friday sales. There's so many ways that you can save money ahead of time and then just keep those gifts for a time that you're going to present it to them. You don't have to wait until right before Christmas to buy those things. And also, save the money ahead. If I know that I'm gonna spend a good $200-300 on each person for Christmas, or whatever the budget is for each person, and plan that budget ahead of time too, then I can say, okay, I have 12 months to save, or I have 11 months to save. How much do I need to save per month? And put that in your budget. Budget for it. Everything is doable as long as you're planning ahead.
All right, I agree with a lot of things that she said. Some I disagree with here. But yeah, budgeting is very important. And I think the more you think something through prior to doing it, there won't be any surprises, and it will make purchasing things feel less harsh, less scary, and then you can be in control of your spending. It really does enlighten you a bit when you're in control of what you buy. So budgeting for it or saving up money for the holiday season is definitely a good idea. Now, in regards to buying things earlier, I've never done that, although I probably should. It's not, there's so much stuff going on in the year. It's like, oh yeah, let me, in January, in like February, March, or April, I'm going to go, oh yeah, let me start planning the gifts for the Christmas, for the holidays now. And I should, honestly, I really should set like something in my calendar if I can find when the cheapest months are to buy stuff. But I'll tell you right now, and we did, we exposed Black Friday shopping. Like she said, go get gifts on Black Friday shopping. No, steer clear of Black Friday. We exposed it in the last video that it is an entire scam. If you haven't watched that video, I highly recommend you do so. But we pretty much discovered that leading up to Black Friday, retailers and big online businesses, Amazon and all, Target, Walmart, what they do is they jack up prices leading towards Black Friday. And then on Black Friday, they'll either drop the price back down to where it once was, or they'll actually keep the price higher. Yes, they drop it down because they've been raising it up, but it's still higher than where it was 3 to 4 months ago, which is crazy to me. But basically, what these slimy, schemy, low-life companies have discovered is that people are going to spend money during the holidays regardless of what, the price says. And they know that. And they know that demand is at an all-time high during those holiday shopping. And they'll incentivize it with the schemy, slimy, fake discount because they've been raising prices for the past 3 to 4 months leading up to the holidays, and you're not actually getting a deal. If anything, things are more expensive during the holidays, which is crazy to me that that's a thing. It pisses me off so much that they do that. So if anything, yeah, shopping for the holidays and buying things months in advance would probably save you a lot of money when it comes time for holiday shopping. We discovered I used an app called Honey, which tracked the prices of items. I mean, watch my Black Friday video. It will explain the crazy things that we exposed if you are interested in that.
How much did you spend on your partner for Christmas?
I'm just one of those people that'd say about
$1,000?
Yeah.
You were going to say $1,000, innit?
Yeah.
Grand.
Maybe a bit over.
Bloody Nora, oh my god.
Got £1,000.
Yeah, now do I.
My love language is receiving gifts. I'm happy to spend.
Well, she was just... Wait, what? Her love language is receiving gifts? Is that a thing? Is that a love language? To receive gifts? Oh, my love language is receiving gold bars, kilos and ingots of gold bars. That's my love language. There's no way that's a thing. I'm hoping that she means her love language is giving gifts and like watching people receive gifts. So in that case, the value, like the more she would spend, the better the feeling she has of giving. That's what I think, because I have never heard anyone say their love language is receiving gifts. My love language is receiving ETFs, treasury bonds, and municipal bonds. Send it my way. I'll give you my parcel locker address, and you can send as much treasury bonds as you'd like. Crazy. Now, as for $1,000 for your significant other, I mean, to me, that is crazy, but I know people that do that. I know people that spend several thousands of dollars and they don't have the money for it because they're just very materialistic people. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I guess if you have the money for it, by all means, but if you're going to go into debt or it is going to be setting you back financially, you need to reevaluate the decisions that you're making because at least in my mind, the average middle class worker, 9-to-5er, $1,000 is a lot of money. And to spend that on a significant other, to me, is too much. I can, like, on what? What are we spending it on? On rent? That would make more sense. On paying your car payment? That would make more sense. But on just useless fast fashion, it seems a little bit out of touch.
A good amount on my partner if I am in absolute love.
Oh.
I'm a student, mate. I can't afford that. I'd say under 50, like if you were good. Yeah.
Birthday's more important, I think.
Yeah, birthday's more important.
I agree.
I'd say 50.
Between,
Maybe no more than 200. No more.
I'd say no more than 3.
Yeah.
No more than 300 if you're on a budget.
30 quid.
Whatever the gift's worth. I could say 100, 200, 50, 40, even £5.
I think it's nicer to make things.
60, 70
maybe?
A few hundred. Yeah, at least like a couple of hundred, a few hundred I'd say, depending on the person I'd say, yeah.
70 quid. Pair of trainers. Yeah. Like a nice jumper.
How much should you spend on your significant other for the holidays? It depends how long you've been dating. Okay, see, I like the route you're going. This is the way Forbes went. This is via Forbes. Okay. What would you say for less than a year dating? $50 to $100. Pretty good, Brian. Forbes says less than a year dating, $50 is the max, which I think is a little low. Inflation these days? Inflation, what are you going to buy? A bag of chips and a Coke. So what about a longer relationship? Like over a year? Oh, yeah, over 2 years? I think it's decided upon each individual couple. Like some people like to go all out and get like Chanel bags and jewelry. I'm not about that. I'll get something maybe like, I would say anything above 500 is too much money. 500. Above 500 is out of the question no matter what. The most expensive gift that I've gotten a significant other, I think, is $50. Wow. Human-sized dog bed. Worth it. Forbes says longer relationships, $100 is standard. I know it's just like, I feel like that's low. I would say like $200 to $250 is average over 2 years. They said if you're married, $100 is the median amount. One pair of like Lululemon pants is $120. We set a $150 limit. And your relationship's relatively new too.
Well, for starters, Lululemon is a designer brand. And if you go to TJ Maxx, Marshalls, or any other place that's not name brand, you can get a pair of leggings for like $15. So yeah, that is expensive. If you're going to buy Lululemon and designer brands, then $100 might not cut it. But to start, let me make this clear. Nobody should be going into debt to be buying their significant other gifts at any stage in a relationship, okay? You shouldn't have that happen. And if somebody or a significant other is guilting you or making you feel bad for not spending that money, given they know your financial situation or they have a problem with it, you might want to reevaluate who you're talking to and who you're dating. I'm just saying. To each their own, but that's just me. If you're getting judged because you didn't spend enough, the person you're dating, their interests and values might not be the same or aligned with yours. It's just something to think about. Now, for my girlfriend and I, with birthdays, we spend more, but that's not what they're talking about. The holidays specifically, I don't even care about the holidays. Like gift giving for the holidays, like the value of a gift, like the price, we said $100, and even then it's hard for us to even reach that cap, to be honest with you, because we aren't materialistic. We have everything we need. If anything, I would value our time spent together way more than any price. You know, so when she asks me, a lot of times I just say something that we can both do together. A cooking class, going out to a restaurant, get a restaurant gift card. Something that I can spend on both of us that we can both use. That's what I value more than having a specific price in mind, let alone several hundred, if not $1,000. Because I do know people, I do have friends that are so materialistic and it has to be about the price. You know, how much did your outfit cost? How much is your car payment? How much was your engagement ring? Like they're crazy obsessed with that stuff. And it's funny because the ones that are, my friends that are, also happen to be the most in debt and the most financially illiterate. It's kind of funny how that works out.
If you have credit card debt, no one is getting a gift from you. Your stupid spending is why you're here in the first place. You're going to cut that shit out right now. I don't care if you have kids. They're not getting a damn thing from you. You're going to tell them you've been naughty and Santa doesn't visit naughty houses of naughty parents. If you have credit card debt, it's because you're spending more than the money that you have. That is the worst financial decision you could ever make. And it's why you're in credit card debt in the first place, because of marketing and advertising tricking you out of your hard-earned money. You are so pathetic for thinking that you need to buy gifts when you already have credit card debts. The only thing you need to do is pay off those credit cards right now. Sell every possession in your home and work 20 hours a day until they are paid off. No excuses. Christmas is not a holiday that should ever make anyone broke. And it shouldn't be making people who are already broke any more broke. Those gifts you want to buy are going to be garbage in less than 5 years. You don't go to work to convert your money into garbage. How pathetic. The choice is yours. Choose wisely.
Boy, he really dug into that one. I almost feel personally attacked, but he's got a lot of valid points. Do people not realize that, the holidays at its core, like the fundamentals, are about spending time with loved ones and family? Did we stretch that far away? Like, do we go so far away that we've forgotten what the holidays are about? I think so. I mean, mass marketing and consumerism has plagued our economy and our culture, at least here in America, that people are so focused on the price and spending and buying stuff for others and themselves or to impress others that people go broke over it and people go into debt over it. I see this time and time again with comments on my videos that people will justify that just because they have debt doesn't mean they can't live a little. And I get it. You should be entitled to live a little bit, but that doesn't mean eat out every day, go on crazy vacations, buy gifts. If you're in credit card debt, if you have debt, that should be your focus. And it's funny to me because I feel like the people that say that are the ones obviously in debt and they don't know what it feels like to be on the other side. So it's kind of like a cop-out excuse to use that as a reason. Because for me, being financially free, to not be indebted to anyone or anything for any amount of time is amazing. It's an amazing feeling to be able to do what I want, when I want, with who I want, with the money that I have. Nobody gets to tell me where my money goes at the end of the month. Yes, I have a rent payment. Yes, I have bills, but I can cancel them at any moment. My rent ends every year and I can dip. Unlike these crazy mass bills that people have going into debt. So that's just my opinion on it. Take it with a grain of salt, do with it as you will, but that's coming from somebody that has saved up and made a lot of money, that has lived several years without any debt. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love it. Anywho, moving forward, I want to read a couple comments from my previous episode on holiday spending. Luna Solil says, buying gifts for people they don't like, which I was just talking about. I resent my roommates for giving me gifts for the holidays and my birthday. They don't do it for me. They do it so they can get something in return. Then if I don't comply, it causes problems in the house. So not only do I have to remember Christmas parties, but their birthdays too. Maybe let's focus on connections and not things. And I love that. And that's the problem with society and culture. We have twisted it, and mass marketing has done such a great job on drilling in people's heads that it's the gifts and spending your money is really what the holidays are all about. It's annoying that that's like where we've gotten to, but I wish that was the way. It's going to be hard to do that. And it's hard to explain to people. People are just not going to understand you because it's not normal. It's just how it is. It's not normal. I have very, very, very few friends that really understand that. Believe it or not, it's really just my girlfriend and my parents that kind of understand this way. I guess I've learned it from them. But a lot of my other friends are reckless with their money, reckless with their finances, have no idea about how money works. All right, the next comment is from Brooke Felger, says $1,000 on family of 4 and parents, includes all shipping, wrapping. Also, the money was saved up through the year, so no debt. That's awesome. We also keep 1 bin of decorations we use every year. That's even cooler. Thanks for speaking out against the crazy consumerism and debt that goes along with the holidays. You are very welcome, and I feel like it needs to be addressed because we have normalized overconsumption, hyperconsumerism, and overspending to the point that people are going broke in debt and are still paying off last Christmas. crazy. But again, it doesn't matter. Like I said, the cost of gifts, to each their own. If it doesn't set you back financially and you have the money to afford it, you family of 4, family of 2, family of $15,000, whatever, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Next comment says, geez, I feel bad when I plug Christmas lights in thinking to myself, the extra energy cost is going to add up. Oh, it does. And you're entirely right. I do it every time. Every time my girlfriend plugs in the Christmas tree at night before we go to bed, not only do I have this irrational fear that something's going to catch fire, but I unplug it all because I know it costs more. It's my duty now. I have a second job of unplugging all the Christmas lights every single night.
What we do is we give children, Hanukkah, we start educating children about money. The gift we like to give children on Hanukkah is money, and we also accompany that with discussions of what money is and what it's about and what you have to, and now you have to, divide your money into 3. One part is for charity, one part is for you to spend on things you need, the other part is to put away and save. So yeah, Hanukkah is the money time of the year for us. It's passing on to the next generation the principles of money that are so important.
And that is such a powerful video to me, and I really want to speak on that for a moment because it's interesting. While the rest of the world is caught up with the holidays, consumerism, spending, Christmas, then you have other religions, Hanukkah, for example, Judaism, they're focused, they view the holidays differently. And it's interesting because, Hanukkah, you think of the menorah and you think of gelt, like gold coins. That's what they give to children. And they basically, it's interesting because they teach children at a young age how money works, what you should be doing with money. And it's interesting because there's all these stereotypes that, that Jewish people have a lot of money, they don't spend it, that they become very wealthy. That's what I have heard. And it's interesting because they teach it. It's not like it just randomly happens. They're teaching money in the beginning. And it's in the beginning of childhood. And that's how they learn about it. And that's how they become good with it. And it's interesting because then you have Christmas and holidays where you don't really talk about money and it's more about spending, consumerism. And if you don't spend and you don't give, gifts and money away, you are viewed as the Scrooge. Now, I don't know the history of how the Scrooge was created, if there's a religious tie to it, yada, yada, yada. But, at its core, at least the main reason, not Christmas, but holidays, that we have holidays every month is because, and we talked about this in my previous video on how holidays are a scam, which if you haven't checked out, you should. But we talk about how the government has created holidays or incentivizes holidays with consumerism so that people can spend more because the GDP, which makes the economy, afloat, inflation, yada, 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 how the government boosts spending is by creating these holidays to get you to spend more money. So it's interesting how different religions and different people view money and that money should be spoken about more. You have one religion where people are very into money and want to save it and want to spend it, and they end up doing well as a majority. And then you have another culture which bashes being cheap or bashes saving money, the Scrooge, and wants you to spend more. It's just real interesting to see how there's two different viewpoints on money and finances and how somehow speaking about money is evil at the dinner table. And then you have Hanukkah and Judaism where people are actively and openly talking about money and they're good at it. Isn't that interesting?
Everyone is asking, as a frugal person, how am I surviving the holidays and gift giving while spending as little money as possible? Welcome to the re-gift bin. Over the years, I've accumulated a good handful of things, whether it be from gifts, work events, Secret Santas, X, Y, and Z. As a frugal person and a minimalist, I just don't feel like I want stuff. It's kind of that people give things to me, but I don't feel like it's typically stuff that I would need. I guess that's just me living in survival mode. So a couple years ago, I decided, why don't I start holding off on the gifts I'm getting and keep them to the side, so if I ever need to give a gift, I can give something without having to spend money. Probably makes sense to no one, but this makes so much sense to me in my brain. I have a lot of candles. This one actually is perfect for the holiday season. This one says Happy Valentine's Day. I don't even know how I have this because I haven't been in a relationship in 7 years, but I could easily just peel off the sticker and just gift it. In fact, I hoard gift cards. I don't know why. It's like when I get a gift card, I feel guilty to use it. Like $75 to Target. This is $50 that could be used at Dunkin', but we know how I feel about Dunkin'. I guess I just hold on to them because I'm like, if I ever need to give a gift and if I want to give a gift card, I could easily use this. This piece of crap came from a Secret Santa gift from like literally 3 years ago. I don't need this shit. This is stupid. Instead of forcing myself to use it for something I don't want or I don't need, why don't I just keep it in the packaging so then I could gift it to someone else if I ever need to give a gift? Is it all starting to make sense, right? It's kind of insane, but I do have a laptop. My mom one day was like, this is just sitting at the house, why don't you take it? It needs to get repaired. I figured if I ever wanted to give like a really nice gift, I do have this. I think it needs the battery replaced so it wouldn't cost that much money. So now you may be asking yourself, Bradley, how do you package it and wrap it all up? Oh, just wait. I'm always prepared. So my parents do a good bit of shopping, and when they get packages, there's typically like wrapping paper or bubble wrap inside. So I always ask them, can you hold on to it so I could keep it? I have plenty of paper that I could wrap up the gifts in. I have endless boxes that I could use. And then if I'm ever given a gift, I typically like to hang on to the box or the gift bag because of course, then I can use the gift bag to re-gift. And that's how I do the holidays the frugal way.
All right, man spreading. I don't need to see that, but he's got a great point. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a good use case of giving things a second life, like reduce, reuse, recycle, yada, yada, yada. But also, I'm with him too on the way he's like recycling packaging and reusing that. Now, again, I can't stand to hoard and hold on to that stuff. Like, I don't want to have a closet or a box full of, tissue paper and, the bags. But what I do, being on a budget or just not liking the whole concept of gift wrap, spending money on gift wrap that then gets ripped up and tossed in the garbage and you only see it for 30 seconds, I like to use newspaper. That's just my thing. I guess you could use Amazon boxes too, but I like to use newspaper. I wrap them up. It does the same purpose. It's just as neat. You could even use the cartoon section, which has color, which looks cool. That's free, and most people end up tossing the newspaper anyway. So I think that's a great way of reusing stuff while also saving money instead of spending it on, because it's expensive to be buying bows and bags that end up getting tossed anyway.
Let's talk about why our kids have a $20,000 spending limit for Christmas. For anyone new here, I'm Christy, this is my husband Seth, and we have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. Before you freak out, the limit is between both of them, so each of them only get $10,000.
Whoa. Because I was freaking out at $20,000. Now that she said it's $10,000 per kid, I feel so much better. Oh.
There's a lot of reasons. I'm not going to be able to fit everything in this one video, but here's some of our logic. So our reason for lowering the limit this year is we bought a lot of different stuff for them throughout the year that wasn't part of their Christmas. Our daughter got multiple designer bags, her own Tesla already. So when it comes to Christmas, we didn't want to spend too much after already spending so much all year. Same with our 1-year-old son. He's only 1 year old and he already got a Rolex, a Lamborghini, and a bunch of other stuff. So we just didn't feel going over 10,000 would be right. Definitely.
All right. So obviously this is satire. We get it now. But I guess we'll play it out and see what happens here. But the thing is, if this is satire, keep in mind satire is just a play on or reenacting or over exaggerating stuff that actually happens in our society. So the sad thing is, even though this is satire and an exaggeration, people do this. And the whole makeup thing, all the time is wild and happens all the time on social media. So again, it's crazy, but it's sad because people actually spend their money like crazy, overconsume for the holidays or any given reason. I wouldn't be surprised if people spend maybe not 20 grand for 2 kids, but 5 grand, 4 grand, 10 grand for 2 kids. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Don't want our kids to be spoiled or ungrateful for what they get. For those of you that still think 10,000 each is too much, here's why we do that much. We've literally already maxed out their savings accounts, their retirement accounts. So it's not like we're being irresponsible. A lot of people will say, oh, why don't you invest that money? We already do that. This is literally just extra spending money that we're spending on them for Christmas. We always consult a financial advisor before we make any of these decisions. But most importantly,
with your eyes open?
Our kids are only young once, and we want to make the holiday season as special as we possibly can for them. You know what you think? Are we crazy, or does your family also have a $10,000 limit for Christmas?
You do not need to get into debt in order for your kids and your loved ones to have a good Christmas. I am appalled at the amount of shopping adverts that mention credit loans, buy now, pay later, because they know that struggling parents will just think, yeah, actually, I'll do that.
Yep.
What they fail to mention on the screen, or make bigger, should I say, is the level of interest you will pay, or the amount that you will be penalised if you miss a payment on this. Growing up, my mum always used to make sure there was a mountain of presents under the tree, and I am forever grateful for that. But what I also am grateful for is the memories that we made along the way. In fact, most of the memories that we still talk about now don't even involve a gift anywhere. There's no presents mentioned in any of these memories. And that just proves a point that your kids aren't going to grow up remembering Mount Everest of presents. They're going to grow up remembering that you were present on Christmas Day, and as corny as that sounds, you are sort of the gift. Kids are growing up in a world where their parents are holding down 2 jobs and working night and day to be able to put a roof over their heads. The last thing they'll ever want is for you to stress yourself out and strain yourself and stretch yourself just to compete with the show-off parents who, quite frankly, just look very silly when they make their kids pose with all those Christmas presents on Facebook. Spoiling your kids isn't always about presents. In fact, I reckon if you are just there and enjoying the day with them, they'll remember that for an absolute lifetime.
That is so true. And it really makes me think when she was saying that, it's very materialistic. And even with like relationships, when people post their significant others constantly online, most of the time, obviously there are exceptions, they don't last because the relationship isn't for themselves. It's to get approval from others. And that's a problem. And it's almost like I see it time and time again. And you even see it in some movies where the parents are absent and the way they feel guilty and they want to give back to their kids, it's just by buying stuff for them. There's lots of movies on that. And it happens constantly in real life too, that I hear about it and see it too, where people will try to win over their children or kind of just show they don't maybe know how to have a real connection with someone. So instead, and I see this, with divorced parents, stuff like that. I mean, tons of exceptions, but I see it all the time where people will use buying gifts constantly as a tool instead of actually having a real connection with a child or a significant other or a family member. That's what I've noticed. And she's got a lot of points that most people, it's more meaningful the actual connection you have with someone rather than just spending money on buying stuff, because nobody really remembers that stuff anyway. I don't. I'm sure you guys don't. I'd love to hear about it down in the comments below. But yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you like this. Let me know how much you plan on spending this holiday season down in the comments section below. And if you haven't already checked out my Black Friday is a Scam video, then definitely stay tuned to watch that. It'll be right after this. But smash that like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.